Hey, everybody. Look, that might be the closest I think we've ever done to getting that on time.
On the
That's
dot.
perfect. That's what happens when you leave Bradley and Cameron in charge.
When you put the boys in
We
charge.
get shit done punctually. I wasn't late either.
No, you weren't late at all.
Maybe like 2 minutes.
I had a contingency and everything if you were going to be 40 minutes late as normal.
Not me. And I had to even do stuff this morning before I came here. I had to get breakfast. I had to take Michelle to her car.
Yep.
I had to get here.
Yep. Have you ever openly said her name on the podcast, or did you get 2 minutes in and done?
No, I think I have. Because I remember I did it and I said it, and I think I don't know if I must have been doing it with you, because I said it and then I looked at the camera and I went, and I don't know if you noticed, but then Harry said in the chat, don't worry, saying her first name isn't
a dox.
It's if you say her date of birth, her mother's maiden name, and her firstborn pet.
What's a security code? The three pins on the back of it.
I was going to say, everyone keeps asking, that's like the funny, like, what's your security? What is a security code?
It's the 3 digits on the back of the card, your debit credit
39.
card.
I was joking and not going to say the last one, but I probably shouldn't have said the first two either.
Were they right? No.
Hey guys, welcome. If you didn't hear, my name's Brad. I'm joined with lovely friend Cam.
Good morning. Lovely
Cam.
bit of Sunday morning moss.
Beautiful Sunday Moss. Oh, that could be a good name for a show. Sunday Moss.
Sunday Moss.
They both-
Hosted by Bradley Moss.
Oh.
The Docs King.
We were talking earlier that I think at this point to train me, you sort of got to rely. I never did, good with the schooling or the other natural ways you teach human beings. So we need to resort to more primal ways to teach. Although I guess there's probably nothing primal about a shock collar.
We could get a bark collar and program it that instead of a bark, it's private and secure information. I trust Adam can reprogram one of them.
Any word that sounds like the name.
A name, an address, a string of numbers that could be a card and or phone number.
You know what? Wouldn't even be too mad. I've kind of had an interest in tasers and shock collars for a while now.
Yeah.
More so like on other people, but at the same time, I'd tase myself.
It is my number one fear and hate.
What,
Getting
to get-
electrocuted.
Really?
Yeah, thanks to Bam Margera in the Jackass movies, because it's his biggest fear too. And as a kid, he's like, oh, I hate the electricity, man. Bam isn't redneck. I can't do American accents well, but he'd freak out and be like, no, man, no tasers for me. And I just hated them, watching them get, there's one called Jail Run, and they jump through the bars in the hallway.
That looks so fun. What do you mean?
That's scared. Like, I can't even punch me as hard as you want, put me in a wheelie bin and throw me down a hill. I've done that.
Incredible.
But you bring a taser near me and I got...
We have found the next HQ content.
So what we're doing for our 24-hour stream is we're getting tasered the whole time. Now
Thank
that
you
I've
for
said that.
letting me know your greatest fear, Cam.
I think we should do shot collars on a stream.
Without a doubt. Oh, could that be a channel?
100%. We could do that.
1,000 channel points and you can shock us. I think that feels like it should be illegal in some way.
I was watching a Super Mega video. I love the Super Mega boys.
Mega video.
Yeah, and they were doing drunk Mario Kart, and every time you picked up an item, you had to take a shot that was related to the item, but except for lightning. If you got struck by lightning, they tased you with a collar, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Wait, what's some shots related to like...
It was just
the
colored.
shell? Oh,
So like
okay.
the blue shot had blue Caracao in it. The red shell had like grenadine in it.
Gotcha.
Inquisitor, I think they put squid ink in vodka or something. And it was disgusting.
I'm gonna be sick. I was drinking last night.
Yeah.
And honestly, just the smell of being reminded, because usually I'm a CC man at heart. There's nothing wrong with the Canadian club. And I was actually going to go to the shops to get... You're going to be very disappointed in me. Little fat lamb. Hey!
I don't, man, that
Hey.
stuff's toxic, but I love it.
Isn't it just like... I found there's one called... it had a rainbow in it, but I don't think it's called rainbow.
I know the one you're talking about.
And it's just energy drink flavored. So it's just a Red Bull that's like, no, it's energy drinks, brother.
That is a discredit to Red Bull. It's like the 75-cent Aldi energy drinks. That's what it tastes like.
Yeah, but
Last time I had Little Fat Lamb was with you guys. I think Lachlan had a couple. and we just sipped them one night, and they were disgusting, but they do the job, as they say.
Little fat lamb, the sipping beverage.
Sipping indeed.
Well, usually I get one with a straw, so
Yeah.
I could just sort of, because that's the first time I ever had one, and I heard about them, and I did not know how brutal they were. I just heard the rumors. I was on a trip, in rural New South Wales country, someplace called like Newcastle or something, old place. And bought Little Fat Lab with a buddy, and we were like, let's try it together. And we were playing a board game. I think we were playing Baldur's Gate.
Good game.
It's a great game. So fun. And I knew it head to toes because I played it a bunch, so I was confident to drink and play it. And I sat down and I cracked Little Fat Lamb. I put a straw in. I sat there, and I think I finished it in like maybe like 30 minutes because it didn't really taste that bad. It didn't taste like alcohol, so it was super easy to just sit there. 30 minutes later, I stand up. Holy shit. That was a crazy experience to just, it felt like instantly become drunk. I didn't realize how drunk I was sitting down until I stood up, and then in that standing up process, it's like I stood through a portal and a transformation into a drunken state, and I was just, like in Grand Theft Auto when you hit the drink button like your fourth or fifth time, and then just instantly like
the wave effect comes over.
I had an IRL wave effect, and it was incredible, and I was mesmerized by the Little Fat Lamb.
That.
I worship the Little Fat Lamb. I think I was on another story when I started talking about Little Fat Lamb.
Yeah, the tangents.
That's right. I was
3 tangents, Dave.
I didn't want to CC, and I couldn't find Little Fat Lamb, so I went back to my old college roots, and I got some Bundy rum. Oh God, it all just came flooding back. Damn.
I can do like 1 or 2, but any more, and you start to get those flashbacks.
Oh yeah.
The smell. There's something about the smell. Even if you've never had a Bundy rum hangover, the smell of Bundy rum makes you feel like you've had a Bundy rum hangover.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like it smells like the gross part while you're drinking it. It's sort of like mouthwashy and medicinal in a way. And
I'll one up you. Last night, my partner and I were having some beverages. I just had a classic Asahi because I'm a weeaboo.
Yeah, that's fine.
Japanese beer's great, but she got a bottle of like pre-mixed wine or spirits from Costco. We were out there doing our big shopping. We moved in, getting your frozen veg and all that. And she saw this and she's like, I want to try it because there was the people that give you things. Samples.
Oh, they give you a shot?
There was a guy in the meat, a lady in the meat aisle. Yep. And she said, oh, that stuff's great. It's like passion pop, but better. Now, if you're a teenager or were a teenager in recent years in Australia, you know what passion pop is, and it's disgusting. But everyone likes it because it takes you back to the good old times when there was not a worry in the world and you would
Amen, brother.
Drinking passion pop in an alleyway. And
easy. I paid passion pop 40 hands.
Oh, God.
Taped those bad boys to either hand. Couldn't do anything till I finished them. And
that's headache inducing.
It was disgusting.
Anyway, this stuff was, I think it was passion fruit and mango. And it was just in a wine bottle. We had it last night, cracked the top. What it tasted like, and I'm very sorry for saying this at 10:30 in the morning on a Sunday, especially Bradley who's hungover.
Yeah,
you're not hungover, but
fine.
It's like when you have a breakfast juice and then immediately throw it up again. And it just tasted like breakfast juice with stomach bile in it. My partner had 2 sips and was like, I'm done. Gave it to me and I downed the glass and was like, ooh.
Was it at least like, the same with Little Fat Lamb where it doesn't taste too great, but it hits you like a train?
It was like 5% alcohol. I felt more lit off 2 beers.
That's the bloody point.
Oh man, it was not good. So if I don't remember the brand name, but yeah, if you're ever in the mood for Costco cheap alcohol, don't get that. Just get the big 2-liter vodka and cry yourself to sleep.
Amen. Or just get some Little Fat Lamb.
If you can get that in your local region.
The show's sponsored and brought to you by Little Fat Lamb.
I reckon we
got sponsored by Little Fat Lamb.
Through the business that I currently work for, I could probably figure that out.
Cam, I'm starting to cry. That sounds incredible. I would have a Little Fat Lamb. Jesus Christ, I'm actually crying. I would have a Little Fat Lamb stream, Cam.
I would too.
We could just sit here and what's the Little Fat Lamb game? We just drink while we play.
There's that new game that came out called Cult of the Lamb or something. Sheep Cult.
Interesting.
We
That'd
should
be
do a
perfect.
drinking game to that.
Cult of the Lamb. Lamb of the Lamb. Where?
That is going to be
incredible.
absolutely brutal.
It's going to diverge into something. Oh, that's right. Speaking of new games, while drinking last night, and I don't want to verge too far away with that because it took long. I was thinking because I was going to talk about drinking and then maybe talk about. I imagine you probably have a funny little drinking story, knowing you.
I have many,
hooligan,
but the last time we met, I almost lost all credibility. So.
You got to find like the mid-range one where it's not the worst you've been, but it's enough to keep the
didn't end in a prison night, but maybe was still funny.
Exactly. But before we divulge into that, I played a new game while drinking last night, and it was very fun. We don't know any. We don't have. Holy Guacamole doesn't have an official VR headset yet.
Not yet, no.
Damn. Because it's a sick VR game. It's a party game, and there's like 6 of us, and one person's in the VR headset. And the rest are just playing on the screen with controllers or their phones. And the person in the VR headset is this just tall person, and everyone else is these tiny little things called takelinks. And it's like taking place in that person's house. And it's just a bunch of mini games where the little creatures, they have a screen where they have to go and do a bunch of things, whether that's run around and collect coins or just survive or whatever the heck. And then the person in the VR headset has to like catch us and kill us. So one of the modes is like we're in the kitchen and we can hide in the bowls and we can hide in the sink and stuff. And he needs to, in VR, like pick up all the bowls, pick up the plates, grab us, and then like stick us in the toaster or stick us in the waffle iron. And then we can run around and help our buddies and pull out the plug for the waffle iron. And then he'll grab us and put the plug back in and put us back in the toaster. And it was so bloody fun.
Yeah, that sounds like if you had a couple of beverages, it would be the game of the evening.
God. It was incredible because because it's not too many game modes. So by the time I got into the VR mode and I was playing, I knew what it looked like from the perspective of a couch person. So I knew that one locked camera angle in a way to really scare the shit out of them. There was this one game mode where like everyone's behind a wall and there's a bunch of like electric boxes on the wall, and then they're all running around behind, and their job is to jump around. So I'm on the other end with a hammer trying to break down the wall without hitting the electric boxes, but only getting them, so they're jumping around the electric boxes. Anywho, that was incredible to just smash a little part of the wall, then just in VR stick my head through it and scare the absolute shit out of them, and then while they're screaming and crying, just start smashing the hammer around. The mental torment you can play on your friends in this game.
Psychopath the game.
Ooh,
Shining Simulator.
That's my kind of game.
I like it. That sounds cool. We should definitely get a HR. We need a HR.
QV.
That's a completely different conversation we can't have on stream. But a HQ Vive, or I don't know anything about VR. I wear glasses, so the last time I used VR was at university.
Yeah.
And the project that you worked on.
Oh, yeah.
That was the last time I used VR, and I had to, because most of my friends were on that team, I had to go, this is great. But all I could think was, I'm about to throw the fuck up.
It's very nausea-inducing.
Especially when it was full of bugs and you'd look at something and it just go, and you're like,
especially also being a game developer and testing. So I'm just like, hey, Loggy, can you just get in the VR headset and test something for me? And then I can grab his camera and I can just spin it. It's just going to put him in a blender. And that man hates me. And we never tested it again. Hey, unrelated, check out Evoke today.
Yeah.
On the Steam page.
Yeah, check out Evoke.
If you have a VR headset and want to spend $5 on a game you will never play again, except maybe for an hour.
I don't think you guys will make any money off it anymore.
Nope, because the bank account that the money gets transferred to is closed. Woo! Except Steam, for some reason, is still sending money to that account, and all that money is getting transferred to the ATO. So, hey, ATO.
We could probably claim lost income, but that's neither here nor there, nor a good podcast conversation.
Cam, can you explain to me the inworks and outworks of ATO and income?
ATO is the single worst agency in Australia. And now that I've said that, I'm going to get audited for the 4th year in a row. Yeah. Wow.
Nothing but unpleasant experiences with the ATO.
You just, you deal with money. You get a reputation. One of my short couple month jobs was doing data service for a company that contracted for the ATO, and it was an absolute nightmare.
Data service.
You'd speak to the ATO staff members, and they were like, zombies. They'd been yelled at 16 times and it was 9 o'clock in the morning. So
Sure. It can't be
people
nice.
are sensitive about money. It's the same as like a Medicare and Centrelink.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I called up, it was definitely something I was at fault with. I was just not prepared for how little they would care. It was like we're doing some company stuff, and a member of our company had changed their name, and we did not update it in time because it was our first time opening a company, so we didn't know we had to. Until I had to fill out some document, and then I put their new name, and they're like, "Oh, this looks different." And I was like, "Oh yeah, sorry, they changed their name." Like, that's no problem. Don't even worry about it. $600 fine.
Yep.
That's $300 for not telling us you changed your name, and $300 for being late about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that's like all the money in our bank. So let me call up, and I called the lady, and I was like, "Hey, so we really didn't know. Plus, this is in the middle of COVID. It's been hard to contact the person and just get an update in general. What can you do?" And they're like, "Oh, so let me just confirm that they did change their name." And I was like, "Yeah," and that you did submit it this date. And I was like, "Yeah," and they're like $600. And I was like, "Oh, you can't. A little grease in the palm, a little help a fella." And I was like, "You did the thing. You did it wrong. Give us the money."
But they won't tax Apple. Crazy, eh? Fuck the government.
Bloody
shithole
bastards.
country.
Down with ATO, down with Apple, and up with Little Fat Lamb.
Yeah. Our new overlords. Whoever the CEO of Little Fat Lamb. I don't know who owns their brewery anymore, but they should be the Prime Minister. No, Lord Emperor.
Oh, you can imagine bathing Little Fat Lamb.
Oh.
Never mind. We'll take that. Oh, that could be a part of the stream as well once we get sponsored
By LFL.
Anyway,
Where did that tangent start?
started with drinking and
VR and
VR.
How long do you think you spent in VR while working in it? Because I reckon if I had to spend over an hour in it a day, I'd be blind.
Yeah, well, me personally, I don't think I that's right, because this was also in the midst of doing a course. So we were a team of people both doing a course and working on a game. And I think I spent majority of my time on the coursework while other people were doing game development. Every now and again,
true.
I'd make a little asset, I'd make a little rock or a little wand or something. But I was mainly doing the business side of things, Cam, if you could believe it. I was the one doing the legalities of making the business real, getting everyone's signatures, having to get the contract together because we were an official company. What would happen if we made money? Where that money would go? Becoming the president. If we ever got bankrupt, I'd be the one who lost everything. Yeah, it sucked. Because I hated the business.
So why am I doing it
I don't
now?
know. I
You
was
can
just-
do it, man. I hate it.
I know nothing. I knew nothing. I think that cost us and lost us so much money. The only money, Harry went and made a great deal with another company, and the game we thought would make nothing ended up making $1,000. Woo! I lost all of that. I don't think a single person got a payout between dealing with the ATO and dealing with the bank and things closing and them not getting back to me and late fees. I lost all the profits. So no,
Don't get into game development, kids. No. Speaking of game development, I love game development.
It's super fun.
Yeah.
It's a blast to let you create. In fact, we've actually been just a little sneak under the I won't tell anyone about it, but HQ does a lot of things. We make a lot of content, but if you don't know, we're also game developers.
I'm tapping out of this conversation. This is for Harry and you to decide the conversation.
I won't go any further, but just keep in mind, we don't make just excellent videos. We might also make excellent games. So over the next few weeks, stay tuned. There might be some other cheeky. I don't know if we're actually.
I'd like to do a stage show as well.
A stage show. Cam, for those in the audience and not me who don't know, what's a stage show?
Theatre.
Oh, yeah. Like
A play, a musical, Bradley.
like
yeah.
what, us, Holy Guacamole.
All of us, yeah.
Like on stream or like in the
We'll
real
stream
world?
it. I got some friends.
Interesting.
This is a topic for another conversation another time, but get the hype going. Hashtag HQ stage show. Make it happen.
We do anything. Just please, just watch us.
Let us make stupid
Just
content.
make content. We'll do
I
whatever
swear
we
we're
want.
funny.
We'll dance for you. We'll put on a little suit. I can put on a diaper. Would that make you guys laugh? You guys love me. Hey, so stories.
Stories.
Cam, and who has a better story than Brian? us. We have better stories because we've lived a very extravagant and wild life.
We're basically old men in our early 20s.
Pretty much.
The adventures we've gone on.
Yeah, I had a grey hair the other week.
Yeah?
Did you see the stream? I was talking about Michelle found a little grey goose slipping
Yeah.
away in there. I reached over, popped it out.
You're looking a little grey?
Excuse me, Cam. What do you mean? He got rid of it, Cam. There's no more. Cam?
Not yet. They're coming. Thick and thin.
I actually got a haircut the other day, so they're probably
Ooh.
running scared.
Ooh.
I got it layered, if you can.
I cannot tell, but you've got it up, so.
I do have it up because it was not looking too good.
Yeah.
I thought, look it up. How am I look? Oh, this is why I sit on this side, Cam, so I don't have to look at the camera side of things. I'm so white. Look at that. That's just reflective at that point.
Get tattoos. You stop being white.
You're so right.
Because I'm whiter than you, but because I've got tattoos, no
Oh
one
my
can
God. I just spent all day inside.
tell.
It's a nightmare. I think I was about to diverge. I've been spending the majority of the car ride over here thinking of a drinking story, so we could have a little bit of a bit and bat about some hooliganistic times we had as a youthful little son of a bitch. Now that we're getting
do it.
older, I turn 25 in like a month. Hey, my birthday's coming up. So.
I turned 25 in 2 months.
Oh my God. You're a December baby?
Yeah, 10th of December, baby.
That's a
I'll dox
shame.
my own birthday. I don't care.
Is that bad?
No,
that a bad
we'll
thing?
do a stream on it or something.
My birthday's 9/11, but not the
Not-
real one.
The real 9/11, not the American one.
Yes, the proper day, month, year. You
Yeah.
fucking insane
Oh, don't get me
people.
started. I read a Twitter thread with about 10,000 replies about how America's right, and you could just feel yourself get stupider
What?
reading those people.
What do you remember? What some of their arguments were?
Yeah,
at all?
so the only argument Americans ever seem to come up with is that a month, there's only 12 months. A day, there's 31 days. And years, there's an infinite amount. So you go smallest to largest. Yet, but that doesn't, I don't even want to get into this because it just makes me furious.
I hate that train of thought because like there's. Oh, I guess actually you probably do seconds first, maybe. But like there's 60 seconds. There's 60 seconds in a minute. There's a lot of minutes in a day. So does that mean you go seconds, minutes, hours, months, days?
Just
years.
crazy. And the other thing, they always use you don't say the 4th of July, you say July the 4th. Yet that's a fallacy because it's the 4th of July.
Exactly.
They're absolute morons. Moronic nation of people that I
hate
love
them.
dearly, and I do like America.
That's true. Well, I mean, I did come from America, so if
No,
there's
I've got
no
family in
Americans-
Alabama, so we're the two entitled to talk about this.
Sweet home. When's the last time you visited your family in America?
Year 12, so 4 years ago.
Fucking same.
Really?
Wait, 4 years ago.
5 years ago. I can't count. You know me.
Cam, year 12
I
was
went to-
7 years ago. Cam, that was 7 years ago.
Don't you dare say that to me
Cam,
ever
we're
again.
25. We were in year 12 when we were 18.
Man, take me back.
4 years ago, this man said.
2015, you're not wrong. Fucking hell. Where are me grey hairs? Anyway, I went to Florida and stopped in Alabama.
Hey, Florida's. Maybe we crossed paths. My family was in Florida, so that's where I went.
I went to Florida with school.
Yeah, okay.
We were in
School.
I did go to a very bougie school.
This kid.
I was there on a physics study tour.
That's
I went to NASA. I watched a rocket launch. I then went to Disneyland, Disney World, whichever one's there. I've been to every Disney in the world, so they all kind of merge into
every one of like Paris, Tokyo.
Paris, Tokyo, Hong Kong.
I haven't been to one.
I've danced at 3 of them.
Cam, what life have you lived?
One that's been very privileged and very busy.
I mean-
and I'm exhausted now. It's the middle of my 20s.
Lachlan blew my mind the same way as well because he's like, yeah, me and my family, we went on like yearly like holidays and like trips, to the Isles, to the I don't know where the
We used to go to
Scots
Switzerland twice a year.
What?
I'm gonna get roasted. This is like Hassan, like communism. By the way, I bought a 3rd Lamborghini. I've been very lucky. So I've got family in Switzerland too.
course.
But my dad was offered a job there, so he worked kind of between two jobs.
Yep.
And the job over there was very, very, very intense.
Damn.
So we would go over for 6 months,
Like
6 weeks, and
He lived over there?
no, he lived here,
Oh, okay.
but he'd go over. We'd go for 6 weeks, 12 weeks a year, and he'd do work, and we'd travel Germany, Switzerland, France, Italy, Scandinavian
keeps going.
countries,
Son of a
Eastern Europe, England a few times.
Where haven't you been, Cam?
I haven't been to Russia. Probably won't now, even though some of my favorite musicians are from Russia, but they're not in Russia anymore.
Yikes.
Shout out to the Russian Village Boys, who are now in Poland.
The Russian Village Boys.
Some of the greatest music. You'd probably like it.
The RVBs, baby.
They left at the start of the war, the conflict, and they're now in Poland.
Nice.
I haven't done any of South America or Africa.
Oh, yes, South America.
What I really want to do.
That'd be a fun one. Amsterdam?
No, my parents specifically avoided Amsterdam because at the time we were traveling, I was mighty into dope. So they were like, probably don't need to see our son legally get high in front of us. He can keep doing it secretly at his friend's towns. We don't care.
Damn, what's you said Switzerland, right?
Mhm.
What's Switzerland like? Actually,
Switzerland's the greatest country on this planet.
Hell yeah.
But you need to be a billionaire to live there. It's so expensive.
Wow.
If we weren't there with friends, family, and business, there's nowhere you can afford. You go to McDonald's and you get a Big Mac meal and it's $40.
But it's served to you in a golden plate.
No.
Golden
It's
leaves
just-
shaved on top.
It's such a gorgeous country. It's like it's pretty close to Japan in the way it's run. It is very, everyone for the country, social. So you live for two things, yourself and your country. Everyone does military service for 5 years, but no one complains about it. It's like the only country in the world where no one, because you tend to get a degree while you're serving.
I think I read about something like that. It doesn't have to be active, like military duty.
No, some of them just go to military college and get a degree and then come out. I met a lad who was almost the same age as me. He was a little bit older, and he was halfway through his service, and he was just a military police.
Yeah, okay.
And we went to his house, and he has a fully automatic gun just in his house. They have the lowest gun crime rate in the world. Yet every single citizen owns a gun.
Oh my
A lot of money. So there was 3 guys that were there. My dad, my dad's best friend, and their mentor, who they all worked with back in the 90s when the IT industry was opening up in Australia. And my dad's friend and their mentor had lived there for a few years. And we'd go on these tours, and the mentor, he was this absolute piss taker. Big lad, older lad, and he just loved shit stirring. And we were walking through the center of Zurich, and he just taps me on the shoulder, and he's like, "We're standing on top of $7 billion in Nazi gold." And my dad was like, "Fuck, ignore him. He's a dickhead." And he's like, $7 billion in Nazi gold right underneath us. And then my dad kept saying, "Shut the fuck up."
The gold is some Indiana Jones shit right here. What the fuck?
There was a little plaque on a wall that said there's a vault underneath this courtyard that has been sealed since 1946 on orders of the American government.
What?
And he's like, $7 billion of Nazi gold. I was like, there's so much money in Switzerland.
If that's still sealed, there's no way.
The Swiss just don't care because they're all millionaires. They're all in bank. It's literally like living in a fantasy kingdom.
Damn.
The guilds run the town. So in Zurich, when I was there, we were in Meilen, which is just outside of Zurich. I can dox that place. It's a small town. No one that I know lives there anymore, except for Roger Federer. He lived 2 doors down. So I've seen him many times. Absolutely lovely bloke.
I've heard that name. Love your chocolate.
Very, very tennis player who just retired.
Oh, yeah.
What was I saying? The guilds. One of the first times we were there, we went to a guild parade. And it was these dudes, and I say dudes, it was families, like ancient families who were on horseback in full, almost knight regalia, holding knight helmets with swords, maces, and marching with groups and big heraldry banners. And I was like, is this like a Renaissance fair? And the guy we were with who'd lived there for 5 years was like, no. This is the politicians being sworn in. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, it's just a tradition that's been going on since like 1304. And the guild, so the same families all work in the blacksmithing guild, and the blacksmithing guild runs the ironworks or the steel industry. The jewelers guild, the Bankers Guild, the Bakers Guild, and you're just
my God.
they're all ministers of their industry. And I was just like, this is the greatest country in the world.
What a magical land.
And there's the castles. I love Switzerland, but I can never afford to live there. It's so expensive.
So I went to Perth one time.
Yeah.
That was nice. They didn't have castles or 7 billion Nazi gold vaults or giant parades of knights and magic guilds and blacksmith guilds.
Met a wizard while I was there.
I met a wizard. They had KFC.
I've been very lucky.
Nice.
I know what you did in Perth. No, was it not Perth? It was Gold Coast. Anyway. Yeah, I've been very lucky. I got to travel a lot because of dancing, which is something I've talked about a lot.
So where and what did you dance for again?
So I was in a dance troupe that I won't name because they still perform.
Nice.
And I hate them. But
We'll call them the Wibbly Wobblies.
Yeah, I was a wibbly wobbly. I was one of 2 males when I started. By the time there was 4 males, so that was great. Nepotism, the only reason I was part of the dance troupe, had nothing to do with my natural talent when I started. It was because my sister was a top tier rated ballerina. So she was in the performance troupe, and it was just cheaper for them to, 1, get another male dancer, and 2, my parents didn't have to pay, like, we'd go to performances anyway, so why not that dumb nerd who's playing on his DS? Why don't we put him on stage and get our money's worth? But because I didn't have any natural talent, I danced 4 hours every day for like 5 years.
How old were you again?
I started when I was 11.
Wow. Shit.
And I got into the troupe when I was 13, and then I quit when I was 17.
Wow. So 4 years of
4 years of
intense 4-hour everyday training.
Yeah. And because of that, we did every competition in Eastern Coast, Southeast Coast. We never got to Queensland. But the big Australian dance festivals in Sydney, we went to that once, got high enough that we were offered a trip to America, went over there, didn't compete in America, but we performed it in a couple of states. You know, I did some classes in Bob Fosse's old studio in New York.
Bob Fosse.
Got to do an off-Broadway stage show one night. Performed at Disneyland, which was the most nightmarish thing in the world. 114 degrees in Los Angeles.
Oh.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
It was about 45 Celsius.
Jesus Christ.
And we, in Disneyland, they do two parades, the opening parade and the closing parade. We did the closing parade. So you've got that mid-afternoon sun, and you dance for 4 hours around the entirety of the park. And they've got this, you'll never notice it while you're there, but people just passing out, and they cover it up. It was intense. You practice all day in the heat so that you know what, like, you can deal with the heat.
Did you get paid?
We were on there, like, we got to go backstage. We got to go on any ride we wanted. We were allowed into the venue.
If you don't pass out, you can do whatever you want.
2 hours before it opened. So we'd wake up at 3 a.m., put our makeup on, go do a rehearsal, and then they'd say, go play in the park before we open. Just don't piss off the cleaners.
Goddamn Disney.
So you just have Disney to yourself. The vendors are opening.
Wow.
You just get like free donuts.
Okay, that's kind of
That was 100% worth it.
magical
I went on
experience.
Space Mountain like 50 times, and I'm not even using hyperbole. I would get off it, run, do it, get off it, and just keep doing that by myself.
I think that's like every kid's dream.
Yeah, and because I was one of the only guys, the girls would just leave me alone. They'd go and play in Disney, like do their favorite Disney movies, and I'd just be on Space Mountain, like, yes.
Wow. If I could ever just get some footage isolated of your life, just little 15-year-old Cam running around Disneyland on his own. Cam's big day on Disneyland.
Yeah,
Going up and down the slides.
it was great. And then, you know, karma took its bite and went, here's kidney stones, my friend. I haven't been able to travel since.
Forgotten about that this entire time. I've been sitting here thinking, this son of a bitch. This lucky son. Oh, never mind. He's
50 kidney stones. Yeah, he's all right.
He's all right. The life giveth and life taketh. Yeah, they wanted him to enjoy some travel early on because we're not 100% sure about the later days.
Actually, had a kidney scan this week. That's why I didn't stream on Thursday for all 0 of my regular fans. I couldn't stream on Thursday because I I had a nuclear scan on Wednesday night.
Nuclear scare.
Yeah, they're
Put some
crazy,
nuclear
man.
in ya?
Yeah, they put some radioactive material in your arm, and then you take a diuretic, and they leave you for 15 minutes, and you really need to pee, and then they put you in a CT machine that's specifically calibrated, and they scan your entire body because the nuclear material like is really receptive to the imaging, so they can map your arteries and your tubes.
And then what does the nuclear material like attach itself to when it's in your body? Anything or all of your body? Does
It's
it
just
spread everywhere?
It goes through the blood, then it goes to the kidney, and then it comes out. That's why you take a super intense diuretic. So Wednesday night, all day Thursday, and a little bit of Friday morning, I peed every 20 minutes. And I'm not allowed to be around pregnant women because you're slightly radioactive. And there's 3 pregnant women in my office. So I just got to sit home and watch TV. It was great. My boss gave me the day off. Good morning. How we doing? How we doing?
Welcome, Noah.
It is Noah. My vision's really blurry this morning, so I
yeah.
could just see the green name with 2 B's. Guten
Absolutely,
Morgen.
Noah. We're talking about Cam's origin story, where some radioactive energy got leaked inside of him,
Growing superpowers.
and he releases them in little stone form
I've got a superpower.
every day.
My superpower is growing little crystals over the course of 12 months.
And they're beautiful.
Yeah. I got the image results on Friday.
Ooh, how you doing?
Full of stones. Woo! I've got 3 kidney stones. And my arteries aren't doing so good. That's for another time.
Damn, homie.
Yeah, boy.
Well, I'm glad you got to enjoy some Disneyland Pride, because
Yeah.
this was not like a recent thing, of course. It's been like years now, but like
It was
past Disneyland.
Oh, hell yeah. I didn't get... So, first year of university, I call it that. We weren't actually at university, but
I was about to correct you, and then
I just don't like explaining what it was because it's so complicated. It's like university, but we don't get a degree, and all we did was make video games for 2 years.
No assignments and no pressure.
And absolutely zero pressure. I was stoned for a good 70% of it. Yep. First year, they misdiagnosed me with liver issues because I had this shooting pain. They gave me medication for that. And then I fucking passed out. And they're like, oh, it's liver issues. And then at the end of second year, I had to go to hospital during our final project. Like, it was week 2 of the 20-week project.
That's right.
I got rushed to hospital. And they're like, oh, yeah, you've got a single kidney stone. And I was like, all right, I'll deal with it. Went back to school. And then just before the end of the year, I went back in extreme pain. And the doctor was like, no, you don't have 1. You've got about 30 kidney stones. And so then I spent 4 months in and out of hospital right as we graduated.
So that was all kicking off then.
Yeah.
Because I remember, you absolutely vanished out. Not that we were that close, I think, in year 12.
We just started D&D.
But yeah, I do remember that you had just completely started
I was
off.
Actually on my way to a D&D session when I went back to hospital. So me and my ex, we were in Tuggeranong and getting coffees. And I was like, I'm in a lot of pain. And she had plans. And she's like, do you want me to cancel my plans? I'm like, no, I got D&D. We get back in the car. And I'm like halfway up the parkway because I was going to drop her off at her plans because I think she was going to a brewery with a friend. And I just was like, I can't drive. Put on my indicator. And I don't remember the rest of the day. Wow. She got into my car, drove. And Harry was messaging me like, are you coming?
Yo, fucking D&D, bro.
I got to hospital.
What are you doing?
I don't remember much of that day.
Damn, that is crazy to put that into perspective. That just like, in a way, as soon as we were getting introduced into your life,
yeah,
so was kidney stones.
You've basically never known me healthy.
Damn.
Not that I was very healthy beforehand, but yeah.
There's been a lovely little history on
Cameron's
history.
Do we want to tell some drunk stories that are a bit more lighthearted?
Absolutely. I'd love nothing more. But I will mention, this is what I love about the podcast and just talking, because, we talk and we hang out, not as much these days, unfortunately. Hopefully one day sooner when some things kick off. But and when we do, it feels very little that I'm like, hey Cam, tell me about, every little bit of your childhood. So it's nice to just
tell me your trauma.
Tell me your trauma, tell me your health, tell me your victories, tell me your wins. We're going to, throughout the entirety series of this podcast, just build a little, what are they called? Time map of your life and all the little milestones.
All the crazy shit that's happened. I think about it. My life's very crazy. I'm a very boring person. I think that's why I like sitting inside all day and ignoring people because I've done some crazy shit.
So I'm already good.
Yeah.
I'm clocked out. I'm
I'm an
happy,
old
guys.
man.
I was relaxed.
My dream is to own a cottage in the middle of the woods and no one comes to see me, and I just grow spices.
That's incredible. That sounds
Make
like
teas.
me, but without all the trauma. I just kind of want to
Do it.
do it. Go be alone. Sounds great. I'm wondering if maybe that could almost be a series on its own. Because I got a few people with some crazy tales. I would love to just sit down and like, but I don't want to just talk about it. I want there to be some sort of visual art to go with it. So maybe a little mini series or something, a little 30 minutes where we tell some stories and learn some things. Maybe some animation goes alongside. Because there's you. My mum has had a wacky, wacky life that I'm sure she would love to share with the world.
100%.
And a bunch of other people. But before we do that,
Bit more lighthearted.
tell some stories. Actually, before we do that, we're about around the halfway mark now. Is this a good point to quickly chuck out the schedule?
Let's do the sketch.
I think I have to change. Minimize that. Go to that. I'm an
Here we
expert.
go.
Wow, what a beautiful schedule. So, currently, you're in the middle of the HBU podcast right now.
Same time next week.
Absolutely. We are spot on time-wise. Mitch, now that his September stream every day is ended, is a bit, a bit of here, a bit of there. Best way to stay tuned is to check on the Holy Guacamole Discord, where you get notified every time someone is going on for a little stream.
Yeah.
Let me swap back. On Monday, our lovely Holy Guacamole founder himself, Harry, is still in PAX Land, I believe, on his way back. So there will be no Bannerlord. To much dismay, I know Bannerlord has really been popping off here.
We are
lately.
a Bannerlord channel from the sounds of it.
It's cute to think about the history of HQ, and the biggest milestone at the start is probably the Bannerlord streams.
Bannerlord.
The BLT community.
It's great because it's one of my favorite games.
I've never played. It sounds incredible.
Oh, it's so good.
really
I reckon
sad.
you'd like it.
But Adam will be filling in that time slot nicely, so go check him out. I believe he's been doing a playthrough recently of the latest Pokemon game, which looks pretty crazy. On Tuesday, depending if I'm free, which I believe I am, we might be doing Turbo Tuesday, but since Harry missed out on Bannerlord, he might be doing Bannerlord on Tuesday instead, so we'll find out. Again, Mitch might be here, might be there. Check out the Discord to find out. On Thursday, hopefully everyone returns for Stone Block.
I should be there.
I think that's our biggest group one yet. If Cam doesn't have any more health issues, which is completely unlikely, I think it's just downhill.
You jumping on that one?
I might just be, because I haven't yet, and it'd be kind of fun to have
Come see my vineyard.
Come see. Adam described to me the horror of the mob spawner that you guys have built down there.
Just him. All Harry and I have done. Chickens, wine, and absolutely royally fucking an area by opening too many chance cubes.
That's all I want.
It was absolutely psychotic.
Give
I'm
me
done
chance
with
cubes.
all yours. We've got an infinite supply of chance cubes, and all we did was fuck everything with them.
Incredible. So
I'm
check
done.
out
They're traumatizing.
my stream on Thursday for 4 hours of nothing but chance cubes.
Yeah.
And everyone else for legitimate stone block stuff that I'm too stupid to understand. So you probably get the whole game with that one. Friday, round off the week with some more Adam streams. Another game he's been playing, I believe, is a monster game. I can't remember the name. Monsters something. But it looks really cool. Check that out. And again, Mitch, he might be there. He may not be there.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
That's what you're looking forward to in the week of Holy Guacamole. But in the moment, in the present, in the now, Cam, do I have a story for you? A story I've so eloquently titled, and it's a long title, The night Brad thought he was having his first three-way. I pressed buttons on I didn't know the buttons coordinated with the night Brad thought he was having his first three-way, but instead may have ruined his dad's relationship. A wild night of drinking.
I feel like I need to mentally prepare myself for this one.
And I love that title because it makes it seem a lot worse than it actually is. And to be honest, it probably hypes up a very different story than what I'm about to present to you. But isn't that the point of clickbait? That's the title of the TikTok that this will turn into.
Yes.
Hopefully. So I was a little fella. I still couldn't legally buy alcohol. I remember that. So one must have been year 11 because I worked at a local shop, so it was nice. I'm improving. I almost said the name of the shops.
I had a big smirk on my face because I thought you were about to drop it.
Not me.
The shopping center is called.
That's what the beep's for. We should actually get that as a soundboard.
Yeah, we could actually.
So yeah, local shops. So I had people that I'd just be like, "Hey, mate, could you just pick up like a bottle of vodka for me after work?" And he's like, "Yeah, no problem." So I was working with a big old 1.25 Smirnoff.
Good man.
Anywho, so also since I was a little younger and I was starting to go through my titillation period and girls started looking real pretty, a female friend of mine, and like that kind of friend where they're your friend but like they're not your close friend, so you know possibilities still open. You don't know where this path is going to lead, and I don't like to shut off doors, especially not this one because she was quite an attractive friend, and she said, "Hey Brad, what are you doing on Saturday?" And I was like, "No plans. What's up?" And she was like, "Hey, I was thinking maybe I could come over. We just have a bit of a drink. Just hang out at your dad's place." And I was like, "Oh, yeah? That sounds incredible." And inside I'm shaking a little bit and I'm like, "Yeah, all right." And then she also says, "Hey, do you mind if a friend comes over?" And I was like, "Yeah. I guess you can do that.
Come on.
Why not?" Two girls coming over to my place alone Saturday night at Dad's where the man passes out at 8 o'clock and a bottle of vodka. I should also mention
What could go right?
What? Everything that didn't happen. And also I should mention Dad, who has been single for a fair chunk of his later years. Was in the middle of the biggest potential partner he'd had in a while. There's been some off and on moments, but this one had been sticking around for like almost a year at this point, and probably some time afterwards. And I didn't like her. Oh, I did not like her. We'll call her Dickhead. So Dad was dating Dickhead, and I had two girls over. It was incredible. So it comes Saturday night. They hop off the bus because we don't have a car to drive, and I walk down and I pick them up and we start walking back to my place. And Dad and the partner are there. And they see me walking up with a bag. The partner gives me a bit of a greasy. My dad, bless his heart, doesn't know what's going on at all, but she's sort of staring at me. She's like, "What are you guys up to tonight?" I was like, "Just hanging out. My pals. One boy, two girls, playing some video games." And she's like, "All right, yeah." So we go down to my room and we start just, I don't know, turn the TV on. And doing like a sneaky little, and then just putting it in the bag because they hadn't gone to bed yet. And I was sitting there just waiting for them to go to bed. And I swear she like came and she checked up every now and again, like, "Hey, how you guys doing?" I was like, "Yep, we're fine." And then they didn't end up going to bed till like 10:30, like specifically staying up to like keep an eye on us and watch some shit. And she made sure she did one final peek and like, "Hey, we're going to bed. Have fun." And then shut the door. And I was like, "Oh, you have no idea. Here we go, baby.
You underestimate my fun powers.
My fun powers unleashed with the bottle." And I take it out. And I think, boy, oh boy, here comes the first night in the rest of Brad's life.
This is when Brad the man is born.
Yes.
Brad the boy dies.
Yep. It was a lot cooler in my head.
Always is.
What ended up happening that night is I had a couple more sips of the vodka. They did not. I had a couple more sips. They did not. Before we knew it, I had drunk the entire bottle of vodka before they had barely any. I don't know if that was intentional. I'm going to assume it wasn't. I just had a third, and at that point was, because again, this is like one of the first few times drinking, so really couldn't handle it. And I was about a third in, getting sloshed. They could probably tell, and we're like, "You know what? We'll just let him have his moment." So I probably drunk my way out of endless possibilities that night because I was like, "Oh yeah, let's party." Rest of the night was a bit of a blur. Apparently, I was told instead of having the night of my life I thought I was having, I just went and cried in the bathtub about my ex for about an hour, and they sat by my side in the bathtub and talked to me about it. That was my mystical night. But it doesn't end there, because, of course, like I said, I almost ended my bar's relationship in the process. So after that, they tuck me into bed and they leave me in the other room. And I had a lot of vodka. So I woke up at like early, like 7, puking all over myself. It was basically just up, awake, and then fountain, covering me, covering my pillow, covering everything. It was disgusting. I started washing, I started cleaning, but I couldn't do it discreetly, so both Dad and Julie found out. And of course, Julie was on right away, like, did you guys drink?
You fucking said her name.
Shit!
The dog's king returns.
God damn it. It can't be stopped. I'm just in the heat of the moment. So sorry when I said
Dickhead.
beep. Dickhead.
Yeah. Beep translates to dickhead.
I mean, there's a lot of, people with that name in the world.
Yes, but what if your father watches this?
That's so true. I hope he doesn't. And he was like, hey, you drinking? We were like, no, because we got pizza that night. I was like, man, must have just been some bad pizza.
The salami was off.
His lammy was off. Dad, why I love him to pieces, bought it 100%. Had full trust in me. She was like, nah, something's fishy. And apparently she talked to him and was like, hey, this boy of yours, he's drinking. I know he's drinking. Check his fucking bag. So I had a feeling she was going to rat me out. So I preemptively took what was little remains to the vodka bottle out of my bag and I hid it under my bed. And then, so this was a Sunday, so Dad was going to go take me back to Mum's, and I get in the car. And then as he's sitting beside me, I'm sitting with my bag. He was like, mate, I think you've been lying to me. It hurts. And I don't appreciate it. You're my son and you can tell me anything. Now, Julie thinks you've been drinking. I'm going to need you to open up that bag. And I was just like,
oh, God.
why would I lie to you? Look at this bag. Look at how empty this is. I would never. It's just a bad pizza. And they were like, oh, thank God, mate.
Fucking gaslight your own dad. I have so much more respect for the man now.
I was like, mate, I knew I could trust you. I knew you wouldn't lie to me. And I was like, yeah, Dad, I love you. But yes, we drove me home and he drove back to his place. And he must have got into a bit of a tough with Big Ed. Just be like, oh, like I wasn't there, so this is just what I imagine. For those who don't know, I just randomly hit a button on the keyboard and it says, are you sure you want to remove the podcast?
You're hopeless.
No.
Are we still streaming? Can you open the YouTube? Twitch.
It's still streaming.
God.
Actively. Yep.
Do you want to swap seats, my brother?
Just put the keyboard over there. Keep my hands. I'm too play when I'm
You are
talking.
way
I'm just
too
like a
play.
little because what's the story without a little hand motion? So to wrap up this story real quick, they probably had an argument. Then Julie just went and looked for herself because she was like, that is the most bullshit I've ever bullshitted. I've already been through this with my sons. That man was drunk. That was drunk vomit. Let me find it. And of course I didn't hide the bottle that hard because I knew Dad. I didn't think he would look. And she checks under the bed. Finds it immediately. So I get a text that night while I'm at Mum's saying, Brad, I'm very disappointed. I didn't think you could lie to me. We'll talk about this next weekend. And I was like, and then Julie wasn't there next weekend. They were recently not officially living together, but she'd been spending majority of the nights there, and they stopped living together. And then a couple months later, they broke up. Probably not related because, it was months later. No, I'm not the kind of boy that would ruin my dad's last chance at happiness. And he's been single ever since, which we now discovered was 7-8 years ago. All because I really wanted some beautiful
Double action.
I was thinking of a nice way to, because they're still kind of my friends. And Feels like a shitty way to, and I think in a way that almost
Two whores
in an evening with two incredible women, who probably, I mean, actually just wanted to just
Yeah, can
hang
you
out
call
with
them
their-
and find
their
out if
friend.
they had any intention?
Because like when you're a kid of that age and you hear that story, like we never hung out prior, well, not like alone.
It's just dudes.
It's-
We just seem to think this woman likes me. It's time to fuck.
She wants
Yeah,
to hang
in
out
honesty, they're just like,
alone?
I just want a friend.
You're just a cool guy. I just want to hang out with you on a Saturday.
Teenage boys suck.
You wanted to drink and hang out with me alone and not have sex.
Impossible. I've
What?
seen porn.
I've seen this scenario a million times.
Pizza, vodka, two girls. There's only one place this is going.
There's no way Brad thought it was into crying in the bathroom at 1 a.m. and then ruining my dad's relationship. So can you believe it? Out of all the time I had to think of a cool drinking story, that was the best one.
It was very
that
sad.
I came up with.
I enjoy it.
But hey, you know what? On the plus side, she was kind of an awful person.
Yeah, sounds like it.
After they left, maybe a year or so later, Dad's mother died, and he got some inheritance. Guess what she does?
Try and get some.
Month later, hey, I was going to say my dad's name. That's all right. Hey, Andy, how you doing? Heard about your mother. Before she even asked, how are you? Oh, sorry. Before she even like went on about how he was. The first question, how much did she leave you?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fuck her.
Yeah, and I found out she also spent majority of the relationship trying to get Dad to sell his place and buy an apartment with her.
Yuck.
And it was like,
He's got a good property too.
he's got a gorgeous place,
Yeah.
a beautiful view.
My God. I don't have any stories like that. I probably have ruined relationships while drunk.
Yeah, well, like different, and you know, I say it full knowing that I'm probably a huge dickhead of that story, but I think it's just one of those things.
We've all drunk
through,
too much
you know?
vodka and gotten into a bathtub and cried about our ex. Except for me, it wasn't vodka; it was Bacardi.
Yeah.
And then, literally 2 hours later, I was in a bedroom with my ex. But that's neither here nor there. That story is a terrible, disgusting story.
We did some gross things in college and high school, but you learn,
You live, you love.
you stop, you find out, hey, that probably made someone feel like shit. You know,
Yeah.
I used to describe myself as such an asshole. I swear we were friends. I hope we were. There was a guy, whose name was I gotta say his name for the story. I was Jacko.
Mm-hmm.
And his last name started with an F.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we were in the same teams class. So it was like Jacko F. And I always called him Jack Off. Like, hey, Jack Off, how you doing? And it's only in like these later years that I think about, you know, high school days. Like high school Brad, I remember saying that and thinking that was like our best joke. And it's only when you get into these later years where you're like,
I was just bullying that boy.
was I an asshole in high school? Was I just a big dick? Again, because, well, I went through similar shit. Like my nickname in high school was Mossy Cock. So I just assume everyone had a fucked up nickname.
Yeah, I had some pretty fucked up nicknames. You can imagine as a male dancer at an all boys school.
Exactly.
They weren't nice, and I can't repeat them, but it's what I was called.
It just felt sort of normal. And it's only once you get outside of that environment and you grow up a little bit that you're like, man, maybe that kid didn't like getting called Jack every day.
Probably not, Brad. Did you get drunk and try and fuck him too? I'm trying to think of alcohol stories I can tell.
God. Yeah.
I used to
Anything to make me look better.
Nah, I'm not telling any of the stories that can make you look better after last time. Me and my core group of friends, my pals, there's four of us, little fuckheads, little pieces of shit.
4 amigos.
Yes, we all like hard substances. We had our good friend, he was in the middle of all of us. His parents' house was like directly in the middle of all 4 of us.
Oh, perfect.
So we'd always meet at his house. And his parents are absolutely lovely. I go to their birthday parties every year. We go to their house for Christmas every year. Very well off too. Bougie. We went to a fucking private school. They had a wine cellar. My parents had a wine cellar too, but I never touch my parents' wine because my dad knows what's in there
For sure.
because he loves his wine. Whereas my mate's parents just bought so much fucking wine. They had no idea what it was. So we'd go down there and just go, all right, 4 bottles. We'd grab 4 bottles and then go for a walk.
Oh no. Not the wine.
We drank in one night, we grabbed 6 bottles and we walked from his house to McDonald's and back. Little did we know those 6 bottles. This was the only time we got confronted about it. It was about $2,000 worth of booze. And we were like drinking it. And you know, we'd been on the cheap vodka all night. Decided we used to do this thing because we're all massive nerds where I would desperately try and make our drinking sessions or our drug sessions into like a fantasy adventure. Always wanted to go on an adventure and we'd get up to some crazy shit. But so like it's 3 a.m, we're all hungry. We want nuggies. We decide we're going to walk to the Macca's. Of course, we need something to drink. Yeah. And we've already drunk all the vodka. So we just go down, grab the wine. Because you're already drunk and you're on the wine, you like pour it into your mouth. You're lucky if like half a mil gets down your throat because you're gurgling, you're spitting. No. It's going, we're throwing at each other.
Vodka and wine.
You finish the bottle with, you know, we're dickhead 11, like it's 16, 17-year-olds throwing the glass down alleyways. Absolute piece of shit. I'm not endorsing this behavior. And then you get home in the morning. We get woken up at about 6 o'clock when his dad gets up and he's like, I normally don't care if you take the wine, but you managed to pick the gift wine that was given to me by an Italian ambassador. And we were like, oh fuck. He was not happy. So I think we I don't know how, but we definitely paid him back, but none of us had jobs, so it wasn't with money. I think we just worked. I think we cut his garden for like a month.
That is incredible. You know, I don't want to say that like because it feels like a cop-out excuse. You need to.
Hey, thank you for following.
Hey, welcome, Indian from Delstrip. Maybe you
what
can
a name
with some issues. Never mind. I'm with Vodafone. I wish I could afford.
Welcome to Stories About.
I feel like it's a cop-out excuse to, you know, say like, oh, I was a kid and I was just learning, you know, like that's just what you got to do, bad things to learn not to do them. And it feels like you should be able to just learn not to do them. And and that sort of makes me think like what sort of led to thinking things like that was like, is it, I like to think maybe it's because I watched like a lot of American Pie movies. So I'm just sitting here thinking, oh, kicking into college, it's time for 3-ways. That's just the normal thing you should think about in year 11.
It's the trickling age group. There's always a group of 17-year-olds in the world. And they learn from the 18-year-olds who were 17 before them, who learned from the 19-year-olds who were... And there's that trickling. So we're always learning from the age group above us. And they've always just learning. And it goes all the way back. Oh, we're really sorry. The lights aren't actually turned on.
Oh, no.
No, absolutely scammed. Because we're dickheads and this isn't our normal set. It's Harry's set. Yeah. None of the lights are turned on.
If
so
you do one with a speaker, that'll work as well.
The speakers will work. We're very sorry. Very sorry.
But no, you're absolutely right. I was, I don't know if it's, I'm going to assume, unfortunate, to be raised by some of the hooligans, the king of the hooligans, who I would normally never have any sort of relationship with. And I think in a way they sort of fucking, what's the word? Where you make something darker. They corrupted me.
Yeah.
In the sense that we just happened to work in the same local shops again, and it was the guys that got me the drinks, and they got me drinks many a time. You know, one time I remember I asked, "Hey, can you get like a case of double blacks, a bottle of tequila, and a bottle of vodka?" And they were like, "Great, here you go." And I thought they would just sort of hold on to it until I could take it. Fucking dickheads went down and dropped it off at my mum's house.
Oh my god!
Just on the porch, because I guess they just assumed she knew and was cool, and she was also home. I remember him and his girlfriend went up, dropped it off, was walking back to his car, and then mum came to the front door and apparently said, "Oi, get over here. What's that?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, just some liquor for Brad." And she was like, "Excuse me." Always come inside, and he made both him and his girlfriend come sit inside and explain the story. And then like I got text because I think I was at work being like, "Bro, you might get in trouble when you get home." I was like, "What the fuck have you done?"
God,
Mum was actually really cool about it. She was like, hard liquor I'm keeping, double blacks Well, actually,
Maybe not.
well, no, wait, no, it wasn't double blacks because she probably wouldn't have let us keep the double
Yeah,
blacks.
they're nasty.
I think it was just some other form of what are they called? RTDs.
Yeah.
So
UDL or something.
yeah, something like that.
UDL.
And she was just like, "I'm gonna keep the tequila and vodka. You can have the mixed stuff, just because I don't want to ruin your party," sort of thing. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The people above us, they teach us many, many things, but they can teach us good things.
Definitely.
They made me feel a bit more confident in myself and my body because these guys would get naked at work all the fucking time. And yet, let me remind you, I worked at a local corner store. Place you wouldn't think you'd run into naked people too much. But no, these boys we do this thing called just bringing stock down from the shelves. So there was stock at the tippity top and someone would have to get up on a ladder. Someone would stay on the ground and someone would pass them down. And I remember this guy passed me down something and I was unloading, and he was sitting there and he was like, "Hey, how do you think I went?" And I was like, "What?" And I look up and there's just 2 testicles just hanging above my head. And he's pulled them out from his shorts. Just like, "Do you think I shaved them well? Can you see any hair?"
Just your casual sexual harassment.
What? I'm technically underage.
Yeah, man.
You have your nuts in my face.
Incriminating.
But it made me think, hey, if he can take his nuts,
Nuts ain't that bad.
nuts ain't that bad. It's just the human body.
Yeah,
It's
man.
just skin. So yeah, we learned a lot about the people above us. I hope that I passed on some good lessons to the year below.
I did not.
But probably not.
Drugs.
Drugs.
Anyway.
Drugs.
Yeah.
What are we looking at? 11:30. We've got a little bit of time left. Is there anything else that you sort of wanted to? I was hoping to show the Mario Party.
We could discuss
trailer.
the Mario trailer.
Oh, beautiful.
I was going to shit on Overwatch from a great height, but I think we'll leave that.
We can do that another time. Once I check out some of this, the only thing I've been keeping up with in terms of Overwatch is apparently the Overwatch 2 release has been
Dog shit.
pretty rough.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen queues of like you were like 5,000 in
There
the
was
queue.
40,000 at one point.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Well, suck it, Overwatch.
But in other more exciting news than Overwatch, Mario Party.
The Super Mario Bros. Movie. Come on, my
Super
guy.
Mario Bros. Movie dropped their trailer in
Yeah.
the Nintendo Direct that happened like 2-3 days ago.
Yeah.
And we have thoughts, but before we talk about those thoughts, let's just watch the trailer.
Yeah, some
Let's make sure this is as high. Where's the 4K? We're in 2022. Jesus. This is a good one. Did you know that this was Jack Black, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know this.
That was my nickname in high school. One of the ones I can say. There was a group of kids who thought I looked like Jack Black. So they're like, "Hey, Jack Black." It's like, yeah, I'm cool with that.
So,
It's got to be the greatest animation of all time.
I was surprised at his illumination.
Yeah, right?
What?
God damn.
Open the gates!
The fact he even looks like Jack Black. This makes me so hard.
I can't wait. Jack Black, incredible voice acting. Oh, this guy's little smirk here.
The penguins. I hope we get to see one get thrown off a cliff like in Mario 64.
Without a doubt.
Just murk that one
but
fool.
a taste of our fury. Do you yield? I do not.
Some war crimes with Bowser.
And this baby. Oh,
So
Finally
good.
found it. Now who's gonna stop me?
And end it there because it's shit from here on.
downhill. Even the music, it starts kicking into this shit, like this Disney-esque, like epic, like.
You know it. And we're gonna make you emotional about it.
Yeah.
Just fucking.
That's all I want.
What is this place?
God, the fuck. He couldn't even try.
That's right.
Mushroom, you'll die! Oh, I'm sorry. That one's perfectly fine. Come on, Mario!
Here it is.
Mushroom Kingdom, here we come.
Fuck off.
What? What? What was that, Chris?
Did you even try? Mushroom Kingdom, here we come.
And then just don't forget Luigi's in it as
Yeah,
well.
Charlie Day's playing Luigi, so I gotta go.
It's just like
Mushroom Kingdom.
You'll die! Oh, I'm sorry. That one's perfectly fine. Come on, Mario!
Mushroom Kingdom, here we come.
It's so dog shit. I hate it.
like it's not like it's almost just nothing. It's so close
It's
to
just
being
Chris
nothing.
Pratt.
And then it's just like the tiniest bit of a Brooklyn accent, like Mushroom
walking here.
Kingdom. Here we come. it's ass.
Absolute dog
Straight
shit.
ass, which is a shame because all of this looks
Is
really cool.
incredible. Probably some of the greatest animation of all time. It's 3D animation on another level.
And I'm so excited. And even Jack Black, who I know is always a little bit tricky, like he's one of those actors where it's sort of like he's so overpowering that it gets to a point where you just stop seeing the character and you just sort of see Jack Black.
Yeah.
But if the character's perfect to him, like a certain black and white panda, then it blends in so well. And I really didn't know it was Jack Black until he did that laugh, like that, no one will stop. And then he got into the Jack Black voice there. But the rest of it, I don't know, it sounded pretty cool. And I'm excited.
I'm going to watch it, but I'm going to cringe every time Chris Mario is on the screen. You know, I found a meme that I've been sending. I can't put it on screen because it's not bad. It's just fucking hilarious.
Yeah, okay.
I'll show you and then I'll describe it. And you know how funny describing memes is.
That's the best part of the meme.
So you know in The Simpsons when Mo thinks of his little self and he's like, "Hey, Mo, what's the matter? You don't speak it with your accent no more." It's just that, but they've replaced Mo with Mario. And it's very true because they got rid of Mario's fucking. I was talking to my partner about this. Mario probably has the third most recognizable voice in Western culture.
Yeah.
It's probably Mickey Mouse, Homer Simpson, and fucking Mario.
Yeah.
And they've just like, "Hey, Chris, do what you want."
Yeah. And the actual actor is still in the movie. I checked
Charles,
the cast list. He's still there. I guess
I
he's
can never
doing
say his
other
last name
things.
right. Charles Martinet, mate Martinet, the guy who's been doing Mario for almost 40
How
fucking years.
insulting. Like you finally, like there's been Mario movies before, but like this feels like you finally get the Mario movie. And you're like, I've been voicing this little fucker.
Motherfucking Ron Jeremy did a Mario voice in The Hornio Bros. The porn parody is more accurate to Mario. This is a disgrace.
Oh, wait. Out of curiosity, let me just swap back to the chat.
If you're interested in the history of the Hornio Bros, Justin Wang has a really good video on it. You cannot find the actual video anywhere.
Really?
Nintendo bought the rights to it. So you can, what they had to do before it was released, they cut all of the acting out, and you can only find a porno compilation of it.
Oh,
So there's none of the acting anywhere on the internet because Nintendo bought it because they didn't want people to get the idea that this was official.
oh my
But yeah,
god.
I love Ron Jeremy only because my boss reckons I look like him when I shave my beard off. Speaking of shaving my beard off,
Classic.
this is a very special podcast.
Oh.
This is the Cameron's Mullet Memorial podcast. Tomorrow afternoon, I am getting rid of the long hair.
Wow.
The mullet will still be there, but it just won't be as long
Why?
because it's getting hot, and I
yeah.
get psoriasis when it gets hot. So I've got all these big
yeah.
pimples on the back of my head that I need to deal with
That's a fair point.
because my hair's so thick. Like, it's
Oh my
just
God, it's beautiful.
fucked.
That is beautiful. Okay.
So yeah,
But I get that as well. And it sucks because I'm like, oh god, I would love I'd love to just wear my hair down all the time, get a big boy majestic mane, but it just sucks.
get pimples, you get hot, you get sweaty.
And I bend down to go pick something up and all the hair falls in front of my
Yep.
face. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm trying to see and I can't fucking see. And it's long hair sucks.
It sucks.
I miss short hair so much.
So I'm going back to a
So
short
easy.
mullet, short top, shaved sides, and I'll probably get rid of most of the beard. And then in winter, this will come back. Yeah.
I can't get rid of this because this is about 3 years in the making.
Yeah, this is a year and a half.
That hurts my heart. So yeah, Mario Bros.
Mario, it's gonna be dog shit.
Yeah, it might be an Illumination standard, a good Illumination movie. which there I think maybe is one other.
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna lie, first Despicable Me, I
Uh-huh.
think still kind of slaps.
Banging, bro.
I think it's a beautiful story. I think
Banging.
the moments he goes through and realizing that maybe his career is just a replacement for the love he never got from his own parents, and now he has the opportunity to provide that love to a couple of
Yep.
orphans who desperately need it, and people keep rejecting because it's a family that's a little bit annoying, but not for him.
I think it's one of Carell's best works.
It's beautiful. Yeah, Gro's just
And the man kills it in almost everything he's in.
another iconic voice, another
Man.
character sort of brought to life by the actor. You can't imagine sort of anyone else playing it.
Mario sounds closer to Gru than he does Mario. Fuck Chris Pratt. Also, I just have a stick up my ass about Chris Pratt. I think he's fine. There's this whole, his extreme religious views make him a bad guy. I don't really give a fuck because he's not very vocal about it.
No.
What annoys me is his introduction to the MCU fucked Nova's storyline.
Nova.
My favorite superhero.
Okay.
He's not in the universe yet.
Who's Nova?
He is a fucking space cop who's not a cop, but he's a space superhero who's fucking in love with Gamora and has been since the 80s.
Oh,
Yet
no.
they wanted to do Star-Lord, so then it's like, yeah, it's Star-Lord and Gamora now. So fucking Nova doesn't have a love interest. It's bullshit.
That's
Fuck it.
heartbreaking.
I love the Guardians movie so much, but fuck, they ruined Nova.
Yeah, and yeah, Chris Pratt's just, and it's a no fault to his own,
No.
and he's definitely had some incredible moments. Early Parks and Rec, Chris Pratt, classic Chris Pratt. It's just overnight he became Star-Lord, and then he became
did.
everything, goddamn everything on the
just
planet.
Doesn't need to be Mario. He could have
doesn't.
put him in the Minecraft movie. That would have been him and Steve would have been banging,
yeah.
but not Mario.
And Garfield as well.
There's an online movement growing, and I think we'll become massive supporters of this as it grows. I personally will be a big supporter of this, in which the original voice actor of Mario, Charles Martinet, I can't say his name. I'm very sorry. I'm dyslexic.
Yeah.
He has cameo.
Yes. Oh,
So
classic.
once the movie releases, someone is going to get the script and pay him to do every single line on cameo and then edit the movie so the original VO does it. And I personally am going to help this. I'm going to fund some of those cameos. But we're going to get it one way or another.
Well-
Charles is going to do the voice.
Wasn't that a thing on the internet recently that a bunch of people like listen to the French version?
And it sounds so good.
It says sort of like similar to the Lion King, where it's like, just fuck it, I just won't listen to the American version,
Right?
So that's
Which is
gonna
annoying
suck.
because Jack Black's going to kill it.
Yeah,
Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, that'll be okay. I'm gonna go on a rant here. Fred Armisen is the worst person in Hollywood. I find him so unfunny. He's in an episode of What We Do in the Shadows, the newest season, which is my favorite TV show, and he fucking sucks. I find him so unfunny.
I
God.
barely recognize his face. Like, where have I?
Every time he shows up in something, I get mad.
Interesting. And who's he playing?
Cranky Kong,
Cranky Kong. Which one's Cranky Kong?
the old donkey.
There's an old one.
Have you never played the Donkey Kongs? Cranky Kong's the best.
No.
I hope they do if they do the Donkey Kong rap. DJ
What
Donkey
wait,
Kong. DJ Donkey Kong. Please, for the
What
love
does
of God.
Donkey Kong sound like? Because I'm just
He
trying to.
doesn't voice anything.
I'm just trying to picture Seth Rogen's voice in it.
I don't think he doesn't have a single canonical voice line.
Hey, cool. Yeah.
This is what Brad was hoping that night with the two girls would turn into. Mario goes to a Donkey Kong voice.
What a play! Why is this a playlist? Why has someone made this?
I imagine this is like one Andrew Tate has a video where he's like, "You need to watch this playlist, and it'll make you an alpha male. Pay me $600, and I'll send you the link to Donkey Kong voice clips, and you'll become alpha male overnight." Fuck.
So, Seth Rogen will. Actually, I can kind of hear it now. Like, interesting.
I bet Donkey Kong gets high off fucking bananas.
Wait, so Donkey Kong,
Just gonna go through the playlist again, Brad.
he doesn't talk?
I don't think he's ever talked once.
Donkey Kong. So why the fuck? Unless Seth
Because
Rogen.
no one in the movie cares about integrity. This is.
No way, DK. There's no way that.
I have a
that new
feeling
prehistoric
we're about to
lizard
get
could
fucked.
beat up the giant ape.
Look at that.
Chill out, little buddy. It's just a movie.
Oh,
It's a lousy movie. That lizard stomped an entire city to smithereens.
just
All the
Diddy.
ape did was climb up some stupid building.
But the ape had heart.
we also might get
I mean, you
copyright.
felt something.
I think this
Yeah.
is the show.
I think we're fucked.
The girl.
No way.
Wow.
Okay, well, Seth Rogen's gonna do a stoner voice for Donkey Kong.
Incredible.
Charlie Day is Luigi, which is great,
Yeah.
and I hope Charlie does an accent, but he won't because Chris didn't do an accent. So
Man, when did this sort of like style of just like
running out of ideas, I don't know.
but just no new people. It's like just hey, like you don't think the name Super Mario Brothers going to carry itself enough? You feel like you need to get Seth
right.
Rogen, Anya Taylor-Joy, Keegan Michael Key.
It's probably one of the MCU's faults. You know, big names get big budgets and
Yeah.
big payouts. So
Yeah. After Endgame, it's like hey, if we just chuck them all in the one movie.
to the studio, they're thinking, I'm going to have to pay Chris $2 million, but I'm probably going to get $20 million more,
Yeah.
even if it's shit.
Yeah.
Because I always think about this, and this is why I don't consider myself a movie bro, because movie bros get the shits whenever a movie comes out with someone famous in it. But you got to remember that people who like movies make up about 0.5% of people who actually go to the movies. Most of the
Sure.
people that go to movies are parents who want to distract kids.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And like the biggest, some of the shittest movies have come out, and people are like, yeah, it was great.
Lion King.
So, yeah.
The Lion King 2019.
Oh, they're doing another one. Another live action Lion King. They're doing some filming here. But like panoramics and shit.
We need to shut it down.
Okay.
We need to shut it down. Might be the worst movie I've ever seen that's ever existed on the face of this planet. And we could probably do a whole podcast
Yeah, probably.
talking about how asses.
I was going to talk about one more thing.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen the TV show Only Murders in the Building?
No. Oh, is that the Selena Gomez and Martin?
Steve Martin Short. Yep.
That's the one.
I watched it all this weekend
Oh.
with my partner. Literally
great.
Friday and yesterday. One of the best shows I've ever watched. I reckon
Really?
you'd really like it.
Oh my god.
Because you like Knives Out, yeah.
Oh, love
It's like Knives Out, but with comedy. Yeah, I really liked it. And Knives Out's one of my favorite movies. Glass Onion. Oh, I'm
I
rocking.
was gonna say, did you see
Nah.
sequel Glass Onion?
It comes out in a few weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I already got my suit picked out and everything.
Oh my god. I can't wait.
Puffy cravat. What are they called? Cravat.
I
I had a seizure. Gonna go watch it, drink some bourbon, have a cigar.
could watch Daniel Craig be
Benoit Blanc.
Benoit Blanc over James Bond any
And I
day.
think he's the same.
Any day.
You like Logan Lucky?
I watched it one time, very much not sober, and do not remember a lot about it.
He's very good in that
Oh, he's
too.
in it, is
He
he?
plays the redneck. I can't remember his name, but
Yeah.
so fucking good in that
Something about
too.
him and a southern accent, baby.
He's so good. Oh,
Can't wait.
I'm
Logan
so
Lucky.
happy he's distancing himself from Bond because he's going to do the weirdest shit. Well, we know Knives Out is going to be a series now. He's going to do a couple more, and then
Incredible. I
yeah,
love it. I love a good murder mystery. I saw another murder mystery like on
Mhm.
the weekends. See How They Run.
mm-hmm.
It just wasn't the same.
Mm.
Knives Out just have so many, just
It's-
the characters,
The pulp.
the pulp.
This is what because I had this discussion as well about Only Murders. The reason it feels so good is because it's set in this real pulpy world. Only Murders has these surreal scenes that go on, like dreamlike scenes, and the shots in Ryan Rain's work on Knives Out is so dreamlike and ethereal, and then he cuts to the Wes Anderson super symmetry scenes, and you're just like, oh, it's kind of like this vivid dream. That's what makes a good murder mystery to me. Is it feels like you're watching a piece of art.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
such a beautiful theme, and it can be so easy to just be cheesy about it. But like, it's a perfect line that they wrote where it's like it's fitting the style so well. There's no cheese. It is just whodunit.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful whodunit, and if you haven't seen it, absolutely, with a beautiful
Please.
twist where you're sitting there halfway through and you're like, "What? What's going on? I've got it." But then
Nah.
you don't got it, son.
I didn't guess Knives Out. I did guess the first season of Only Murders, but by pure coincidence. It wasn't from anything factual in the show. I wasn't smart enough to pick up on the cues. I just guessed it. The second season, I had fucking no clue. The second season was incredible. I highly suggest you watch it because I think you'll love it.
I didn't know it was about murder mystery.
Yeah,
so
so fucking good. It's about three people in a building who all are obsessed with true crime podcasts, and then someone in their building dies. So they decide to do a podcast on it, and it slowly just goes into this massive, complex, interwebbed. So fucking good. You should watch it.
that sounds incredible.
And they're only like 30 minutes. You can watch a whole season in an afternoon if you're not busy, which we weren't because I was sick and my partner had to put off work.
Wow,
Which means we've got to do all our chores today. So
that
that's
is
what's going on.
Cam's lock of the week.
Lock of the week.
I will absolutely check that one out. What did you say? Murder in the building?
Only murders in
Only
the building.
murders in the
It's on
building.
Disney Plus.
Well, Cam,
Well, Bradley,
this has been beautiful.
it's been a wonderful podcast.
I've enjoyed sharing this time with you. I've enjoyed
Always.
sharing this time with the few fellows in the chat. You know, we got promised that a few BLT people were going to be stopping by. BLT community.
Not pulling through.
I mean, I guess they probably just want more BLT.
BLT.
Actually, before we go, did you see it? Because I was going to say we should talk about BLT, even though you probably know more than me. And I was like, that's sort of what this podcast is. Oh, Noah, you've been here. Hey, Noah. Welcome back.
Noah's the loyalist.
You and Harry staying true. We were talking about that boat game anime thing that you and apparently Static play.
Oh, Azure Lane.
That's the one. And
Yeah.
we just talked about that for like 20 minutes.
Wild.
Nothing
and
about
no
it.
one. Yeah, I know. Someone in the Discord was like, sent a link to an anime that has absolutely nothing to do with Azure Lane.
Really?
No, it's got no connection whatsoever. Because Azure Lane was a gacha game first, and then they made an anime.
It's hilarious. Me and Harry, we saw in Discord when that happened, and then we saw your little thing pop up as online now on the phone. So we were like, all right, any moment now, Cam's just gonna join the podcast to be like, you guys, you're all wrong. You're talking about it wrong. I've been seeing this shit pop up in the Discord. What's going on?
No.
Wow, that's funny. Maybe we'll talk about it proper.
We need to get Statics on
time.
for that one. Maybe he'll guest and we'll talk about
All right.
Azure Lane.
Well, before we head off, just another quick rinse. The schedule, pretty stock standard week. You're just finishing off the podcast. Hey, coming right up now. Mitch popping up sometimes with some music, sometimes with some games I've seen lately. Just stay tuned in the Discord to find out. We might have some Turbo Tuesday on Tuesday, but at the same time, it's been a while since we've had a Bannerlord, so he might want to do a little bit of a Bannerlord on Tuesday, or maybe even Wednesday. Don't forget the schedule is still a little bit all over the place.
I may stream on Wednesday depending on how things go. I'm thinking maybe I'll do some either Hilux and have 2 viewers, or Crumble and do Bannerlord together.
Incredible. So that's the best way to keep track if the schedule doesn't stay 100% is checking out the Discord.
Get on the Discord.
There's also Stone Block on Thursday, maybe the biggest one. Yeah, we could potentially get the big 5.
We could do the OG 5.
You, Harry, Adam, myself, and Lachlan.
Yeah.
On Stone Block, same time.
The whole Canberra crew.
And Adam both on Mondays and Fridays to wrap and start your week off.
Yeah.
But for now, this has been Brad.
This has been Cameron.
Enjoy the Lord and enjoy your Sunday.
Peace and love. I love you all.
Peace and love.
Good
See you
night,
next week.
my baby boys and girls.
Good night, tri-state area.